Good morning, Year 9. So we are on lesson 3 of the Python programming module that we're doing, and it's called At a Crossroads, because what we're going to be doing here is introducing the concept of choice into our programs. What we've had so far is printing stuff to the screen and asking the user for input. So things like this: name equals input, enter your name, and then printing the name. If I just run that, Joe, there we go. And we've dealt with numbers and we've done bits of maths on the numbers. But so far the programs kind of do the same thing every time you run them with the same input. So we're now going to be doing things slightly differently. We are going to be selecting different bits of code to run based on conditions. So this is in general called selection. So you are going to use selection to control the flow of your program, and you're also going to introduce an element of randomness into your program. So we're going to be importing a library to do that. This is what we're basically doing in Scratch. If you've seen Scratch before, you've got these if blocks or if else blocks, and in the sort of hexagonal shape you can put conditions, and if they're true it executes the code, otherwise it doesn't. And we're going to be seeing the Python equivalent of those. And so I'm going to jump right into some examples on the live programming now. So if we ask for the name, what we're going to be doing now is saying if their name equals Elizabeth. I'm going to assume this means Queen Elizabeth. I'm going to say greetings, Your Majesty. Otherwise, I'm going to print just like hello, which is there we go, and we'll print the name as well. In that case, probably make the quotes consistent across the whole piece of code. I'll talk about the bits of syntax in a second. Let's just run that first. So if I enter my name, Joe, hello Joe. If I enter Elizabeth, and it is case sensitive, so if I do it Elizabeth like that, lowercase, it just says hello Elizabeth. But if I type it with capital E, then it says greetings Your Majesty. So what I've done is I've selected this code to run if the condition is true. So things to note: double equals is used to check equality. Single equals is used up here. Single equals is used to assign a value. Double equals is used to check equality. The colon is used to begin a code block, and then this here is the code block. Then if I want to do something, if the condition is false and I want to do this bit of code, I can use else. And maybe I can get more fancy, and if I have another name I want to respond with a special response to, let's say I put name equals Mr. Sharp, say hi sir, yeah. And so if I double equals, not single equals, I'm going to run that now. Enter your name, Mr. Sharp, hi sir. So you can do ifs, you can do elifs and else. So if you have multiple conditions you want to check for different blocks of code, you can use the elif. Now, if the thing you have to notice about the lines of code is they are indented. So if you put your text editing caret at the start of the line and press tab, it will push it in, and you can push it in a fair bit. If you hold shift and press tab, it will come back out. Now, if you start an if statement like that, so if name equals, it doesn't matter what it equals for this, and I do a colon, and press enter, the code editor actually understands that you're starting a new code block, and so it indents it for you, and then it keeps doing that, like continuing code block. It keeps doing stuff like this, but if you want then code to be run outside of the if statement, kind of the if statement's completed, you unindent like this and do print this will run regardless of the condition value. So let's get rid of that one, and we'll put, so greetings Your Majesty, I am assuming you are Queen Elizabeth. So you can do multiple things in this indented block. You can have empty lines in your indented block, and that's absolutely fine. And you don't have to have indented lines between like this block and the bit that's outside the statement. It's this space at the start of the line that determines the structure of the program. And most of the mistakes people make with these are of that nature. So if I run that now and say, Mr. Sharp, hi sir, this will run regardless of condition value. So if I put anything in, just like a load of whatever, this will run regardless of condition value. So that's how those work. So there's just one worksheet to do. The A2 worksheet. So the first thing it shows you is the worked example, which is pretty much what I've just done. So I will attach this REPL to the lesson, so you've got it to refer to. As you do the worksheet, if you get any problems or error messages, you can come back to the syntax checklist and go, right, have I misspelled if or else? Have I forgot the colon? That's a very common one. Have I forgot to indent things? So if you're down in the guts of this and you are stuck, come back up to the top and go through this checklist. Almost certainly the error you have made will be here. Quotes around the string literals, that's a bit of a classic. So yeah, make sure you've checked against these if you have any problems. When you've finished this, attach any REPL you have made to the classroom before you hand it in, and hopefully you will have some success with that. Let's have a look at the Explorer checklist. Step 3, so make sure you're testing things. This is all about testing things thoroughly. And then here it's giving you a scenario for a new program to write. So you've got to read the brief fairly carefully, make sure it's printing the right things, and make sure the program responds correctly. This is now dealing with numbers. So I'm just going to quickly recap how numbers are dealt with. So if I say age equals, well, I won't do age because that's basically the same as the task. A number equals input, enter a number less than 10. And if I do something like if a number is less than 10, print correct. I'll just comment all this out for a second. Else print incorrect. This won't work. If I put in like 5, yeah, it breaks. Remember, you have to, if you want to treat this as a number, you have to wrap it in int like that. And then if I run that now, put a number in, 5, correct. Let me just put the colon there so you can see it. When I run it again, if I put a number like 12, incorrect. So if you're dealing with numbers, don't forget them to change them into ints. I'll comment that back in now, and I'll just put this is a demo for numbers. Now, in terms of these operators, you've got the less than symbol here. There is on the slides a whole slide of different operators, relational operators. So if you want to check something's equal, use double equals. Not equal is exclamation mark and equals. You can use less than or greater, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So, and here are some examples. I'll attach the slides to the classroom, and good luck with it. So A2 worksheet, and then just hand it in.